Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's watch party and live Q&A. Why Judson? My name is Katie, and I am going to be moderating our webinar today. So before we get started, let's go ahead and review the agenda, and I can tell you what what you can expect from today. So first of all, today is a rebroadcast of a webinar that we held a few weeks ago. So we will be watching a video from our original webinar. Now, rest assured, though, that the content covered in it is still accurate and valuable to you. During this, you're going to meet your support team at Judson, a few members of that, and see how they help you through your educational journey. At the end of this webinar, if you stick around, we will explain to you how you can get a free laptop if you start classes at Judson. And then we'll have a live Q&A session. So even though this is a recorded webinar, we do have two of our hosts here who can field your questions live. So if at any time during the webinar you have a question, go ahead and type it into the Q&A box that you see at the bottom of your screen and send it in, and we will make sure that your questions are addressed. So with that said, I'm going to stop talking, and I'll turn the time over to the rest of everybody to watch the recording.
Today, we are joined by Dr. Rani Mathai and Tonya White. Dr. Mathai is the chair of the Judson University Associate of Arts program, and I don't want to steal her thunder. She's going to introduce herself to you a little bit later. But to wrap it up, she has over 35 years of experience as a professor and has been with Judson since 2005. So you really couldn't ask for a better expert to be with us today. We also are joined by our other host, Tonya White, who has been in higher education for more than a decade, and she currently serves as our executive enrollment coach. She is your go-to person at Judson University for help with enrollment and application questions. And in fact, if you live near our Rockford campus, you can even swing by to see her in person, and she'll help you with anything you need. So with that said, I'm going to turn the time over to Dr. Mathai, and she's going to take it from here.
Hello, I'm Rani Mathai, and I'm so very happy to be with you this evening to speak a little bit about the adult degree programs at Judson. In the 15 years I have been at Judson, I've taught on both the traditional and non-traditional sides of the university, the greater portion in the Division of Adult Professional Studies. I also have taught in almost all levels, from the Associate of Arts program, which I also oversee as its chair, as you're told just now, to the master's programs. I have written courses for almost all these programs because of my educational background in the sciences, curriculum, instruction, traditional and non-traditional formats of education, and specifically my doctoral degree in adult education. With my life, teaching, and educational experience of the past 3 decades, I think I can speak on the various aspects of Judson's adult programs. Let me see if I can proactively give explanations to some of the most pertinent questions you might have when you are looking for an appropriate educational program for furthering your education, honing your natural gifts you already might be using at your workplace, or even want to make a fresh start to set an example for your own children. As one of my current students wrote to me this past weekend, I'm looking to finish my Associate of Arts degree program earlier than previously planned, so I can start my bachelor's and eventually go on to getting my master's. With one son already attending college and the other very close to it, my family is going to be in a very tight financial situation. My desire is to set good examples for my children, and I want them to see that an education is important. So, let me see if I can imagine the questions you might have and address them one by one. Why Judson? Judson University has a long-standing reputation in the Midwest as one of the best educational institutions, which has a proven mission to provide cutting-edge education with an equal emphasis on Christian values founded on biblical faith. One's education should address the needs of the whole person, body, mind, and soul, which we summarize in our mission as shaping the whole person. 21st century job market requires not merely knowledge in a subject matter, but more importantly, skills such as critical thinking, technology, collaboration, ability to learn, and problem solving. Judson Education emphasizes these skills in all their programs. We collaborate with the local businesses and employers and connect our students with them for internships, practice, service learning, etc. Our programs are built to meet students' purpose in life, career, and ethical contribution to the society. Program curricula are developed with input from experts in the field, state and higher learning commission requirements, and the university's own educational goals. Some of these experts both teach in our programs and act as advisory bodies for specific programs. Various committees oversee the development and implementation of our programs. Most of our professors have terminal degrees. Programs and syllabi are reviewed, assessed, and updated on a regular basis with feedback from instructors, students, career experts in the fields, and so on. They communicate with the syllabus writers and program chairs for updates and revisions. Students' constructive feedback on their course evaluations are appropriately considered and incorporated in the syllabus revisions and instructional methods. We always use the best and up-to-date resources and textbooks for our courses. Several employers have attested to the fact that Judson graduates, especially from the adult professional studies, have a unique blend of job skills and ethical character. I recall this being said by an employer who addressed our homecoming alumni gathering about 4 years ago. School systems and employers reach out to our program chairs and faculty when they have good job openings because of Judson's proven record of producing excellent people for the workforce. Our faculty, staff, and graduates strive to keep this good reputation in our communities, not only for us, but for our coming generation as well. By the way, Judson faculty's reference letters for their graduates are strongly considered by employers. Judson's adult programs are specifically designed for non-traditional students, such as the working adult, stay-at-home mother, and traveling employee. We position all these motivated adults well for success in their educational pursuits. These people meet their educational and career goals by, one, their intrinsic motivation, meaning they have a drive to become successful. For that, they would be willing to learn and practice good time management skills. They organize the 24 hours they have in a day for personal and spiritual growth, working outside of home, caring for their families, recreation, and their studies. They make adjustments and sacrifices. They ask questions and seek help when they get stuck. They are teachable at any stage in their life. And we, the faculty and staff, cheerlead them in their pursuit of success. Okay, how do our students overcome obstacles? Life happens to our adult students. An adult student's life is not easy when he or she is balancing many things at the same time and multitasking. I also was one such a couple of decades ago. I had a family with small children, an aging mother, my husband, just one income, job losses, illness, and even church responsibilities. Sometimes I thought of giving up and just concentrate on my home responsibilities only. However, I knew I was not designed for for quitting. Not only me, but all motivated adult students who want to go forward and upward in their life have strengths that they would only discover when they are stressed to their own known limits. So let's look at some of the frequent areas of struggle during an adult student's education and the sources they seek. Now, when they want to get a school, work, and life balance, they spread out their weekly assignments. As I said earlier, they organize their time well. Then when they have a difficult subject matter, they have the Student Success Center with coaches and tutors. They reach out to the instructors through the given in the communication media on a timely matter and ask for extra help. Then when they have financial instability, financial aid support is available to them. When they have health conditions, Our instructors are very accommodative. There are accommodations provided for the needed students. If you reach out to the students in a timely manner, the faculty will make adjustments and create whatever needed assistance they need for doing their assignments when they come back after their illness. If they're new to college, there are intro courses like introduction to the college education, technology, writing skills, etc. So we have ways to manage this. In all these areas, Judson staff and faculty provide the needed guidance and assistance. No student fails because we overlooked their genuine and legitimate needs. We are available to help our students when help is needed. When we make adjustments and accommodations, however, we also do stick to the policies set by the university and the Higher Learning Commission. This is the only way we can maintain our accreditation and validation of the degrees our students receive from our university. So to prove my claim that we provide the needed support for our students in times of need, here is a quote from one of our students who started our program, her program at Judson about 10 years ago, continued on until she graduated from our MAOL program. She remained as a Judson student even after moving out of state. She encouraged her daughter to be our online student. She wrote to me 3 weeks ago explaining why. 2 years ago, Hurricane Harvey hit Texas and I was without electricity. My professor was very understanding and allowed me a couple of weeks to get everything turned in after the class ended. I will always have a positive personal testimony about Judson University. Now you know why Judson should be considered as one of your or your main education choice. Now that I've told you a little bit about the curriculum, faculty and staff interaction with our students, you may want to know how you can become a student here. Ms. Tonya White will help you with that information. Tanya, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Mathai. So one of the first people that you will actually meet in your education process here at Judson is one of the enrollment coaches. And we're really here to help you discuss what your ultimate end goals are. We're here to look at making sure that we have a program here that's going to fit your needs. Talk about your past experiences, maybe why you weren't able to finish your program before. What were some of the challenges and what's different now? And what kind of support can we help to be able to see you be successful? Talk about your lifestyle. Maybe a face-to-face course is going to be a better option for you to be able to learn. Maybe that's your better way to learn. Maybe online with your work schedule is going to be something that is going to be more appropriate for you. But discussing what the options are and helping you to make the decision for what is going to be the best fit. We're also going to talk about your career goals as well as your education goals. And at the end of the day, how is finishing your degree going to put you in a better place than you are that day that we have that first conversation? So one of the amazing things about having an enrollment coach with you is we're going to walk with you every step of the way through that process. So when technology is challenging, when there are questions that aren't really obvious in being able to answer, it's something that we are here to help you with each step. And when there's unique situations, unique questions that come up, different opportunities for students. I know a lot of my students would have questions or concerns about childcare, and that would usually be something that would really hold them back from moving forward with school. Well, one of our solutions for that is we have free childcare on the night of your class when you are a Rockford student, because we're located at the YMCA, and that's part of, being a student and being able to help support you. We also make sure that we've gathered all of the right documentation. As adults, we have enough on our plates to try to keep track of, and so to have that checklist person on hand to be able to let you know, this is what I need next, this is what we still need, and then being able to congratulate you and be excited when things are done and on to the next step, and making sure that everything is moving in the right direction. So We also help in the area of financial aid. So I will admit that prior to working in higher education, the free application for federal student aid was a little bit of a challenge. It can be intimidating. You're filling out a federal student aid form, and sometimes the questions may seem straightforward, but sometimes they can be a little bit confusing. The good news is one of your enrollment coaches completes with a student or guides a student through the FAFSA at least once a day. So that's something where, you know, throughout an entire student's journey, when you only have to do it once a year, I don't expect you to be the expert. That's what I'm here for. So whenever you have questions, whenever you would like to walk through that stuff, I'm here to help with that. We also talk about your options. A lot of times employers will offer employer tuition reimbursement. We also have corporate partnerships where you could receive a potential tuition discount. There may be other scholarships or different grants that students are available for that they are eligible for that they may just not be aware of. So to be able to kind of unpack and look at the entire financial aid picture, because financial aid is so much more than just student loans and federal Pell Grant. And we also talk a lot about responsible borrowing. At the end of the day, you could walk onto any car lot and spend sticker price for that car, but is that really truly the best way to be spending your funds? We also look at, when it comes to federal student aid, a lot of my students qualify for more than what they need. And while you can use the additional funds for educational expenses, sometimes you don't necessarily always have to use all of the funding that's available to you. So we're very much a supporter and encourager of using any of your grant money first that you don't have to pay back, and then being able to supplement with other options after that. All right, the next person on your success team. As your enrollment coach, the next person that I kind of hand that baton off to would be your success coach. And he's truly there with you from your first class through graduation. He is fantastic at, Frank. So Frank Vila, he is our success coach for our Judson students. He is so in tune with being able to help with time management skills, study habits, being able to help direct students to what support systems are available and maybe what the best ones would be for them. And also making sure that there is a clear line of communication between the student and the faculty. Of course, always the first best place to go when you have questions is right to your instructor, and making sure that that communication is strong and being directed in the right way. So he also does a fantastic job of being able to connect your classroom to your career, and again, helping you learn about the different resources that are available. Also developing those problem-solving strategies. A lot of times when everything comes at us at once, it can be overwhelming, and the easiest answer would be to stop. And that's not what we're here for, right? We're here to help for you to finish your degree, and for us to support you in any way we can for you to be able to finish. So we talk through being able to unpack what are the challenges, what are things that we just need to give time for them to work themselves out, what are things that need attention, what kind of steps do we need to take to overcome these challenges, and then also to celebrate. Commencement is probably my favorite time of year. I know as an enrollment coach, I don't get to hang out with my students quite all the way through their program. I'm still here, but there's not as many things that I can do. Frank gets to be with you from the beginning until you finish. But I'll tell you what, when we see our students who are getting close to finishing their programs, or even going back to getting through that tough class that they just had, and maintaining that GPA that they had as a goal, and being able to do through their program and things like that, any accomplishment is worth celebrating, to be able to continue in that positive motion, and really just keep encouraging you through this journey. Frank is also going to check in with you regularly, course correct when necessary. So that would be if we need to make any adjustments to your schedule. He'll connect you with your academic advisor to make sure that those types of things are happening. And also, again, to direct you to support resources. There is such a huge team here at Judson to be able to help you with so many very specific areas that students can need assistance in, that we have those one or two people for you to be able to say, okay, where do I go for this particular help or this particular area, or how do I fix this particular thing? And that's why we as the experts are able to say, perfect, you have this question, here's the best person who can answer this for you. You don't have to remember everything. What you need to do is you need to be a rock star in your classes, and then stay in communication with your coaches to be able to help direct you to the right places to go to get the most efficient use of your time and to help you be the best supported student you can be. And Dr. Mathai, I believe we are back to you.
Yep, thank you. Thank you, Tonya. Now that you heard a little bit about the program and the role of the enrollment staff in your education, I want to reiterate the uniqueness of Judson's adult program and why you want to consider this as your educational choice. Please recall that I told you in the beginning that Judson's educational mission is to address the needs of the whole person so that he or she would make a difference in their home and community. In order to accomplish this, our curriculum framework for all programs, traditional and non-traditional, is built on faith, purpose, and academics. At Judson University, we seek to offer a diverse learning experience that infuses the Christian faith, investigates significant questions of life, and integrates an individual's sense of purpose. This is a direct quote from our handbook. Faith based on the Bible is the foundation that drives our purposeful adult academic programs, which compassionately accommodate the needs of our non-traditional students who are at diverse levels of abilities and preparation. We celebrate diversity and multiple intelligence and intentionally incorporate those in our teaching, learning, and assessment. Our desire is to shape the lives of intellectually and morally sound leaders to shape our world.
Okay, so that concludes the recording. And now we're going to move into our Q&A session. But before we do, I wanted to make a couple of reminders. First of all, as I mentioned at the top of the webinar, we are offering a free laptop right now for students that start in May. So there are 2 or 3 start dates coming up. You can start May 10th through 12th if you are starting your master's degree, or you can start on May 18th if you are starting your bachelor's degree. The way that you can qualify for this is simply starting, but you do need to call an enrollment coach to take advantage of the offer and make sure that you understand all of the terms. So you can give them a call at 888-420-8077, and we will go ahead and stick that into the chat of the webinar so that you can write that down. And an enrollment coach should be able to help you out with that. With that said, let's go ahead and move over to our Q&A session. I see a few people who joined after we started, which is fantastic. We're so happy that you're here with us today. If you take a look at the bottom of your screen, you will see a Q&A icon, and you can click on that and type your question in there, and Dr. Mathai or Tonya will be happy to answer your questions. So with that said, it looks like we have a few questions that have already come in. And this question I'm going to ask Tonya. Tonya, this person wants to know, if they take their classes online, do they have to log in or attend at a specific time?
That is a great question, Katie. For the online format, there is no specific day or time that a student is required to log in to be completing any sort of assignments or activity as a class. However, to be able to prove or show attendance, students do need to post at least 3 different days during that unit week as they are completing their discussion posts, participating in the discussion, as well as doing their assignments.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Dr. Mathai, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I think Tonya gave the important things about online, but there are times when the instructors even give them help sessions through Zoom meetings or FaceTime. And at that time, mostly that would be one-on-one or even optional. But we always encourage people to make use of that, but it is not mandatory. but for it is called asynchronous. Asynchronous means you don't have to be at a place or at one, at a particular time. This is for online classes.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Mathai.
Sure.
Now, this person wants to know if they don't want to take classes online, are classes available right now on campus? So Tonya, can you let us help us understand that?
Absolutely. So we are in a almost post-COVID world. We are working our way back to more of the face-to-face options. So there are some classes that are available now in the face-to-face, and then we do have some programs that are moving back to that option as well. So it really depends on the class, the number of students in the class. Of course, safety is our number one priority for our students and our faculty and instructors. So we want to make sure that we are making the best decisions available. And like Dr. Mathai talked about a little bit earlier, if a student's class was initially scheduled face-to-face and needed to be moved to an online format, there are opportunities such as Zoom and other technology that can be used to be able to help still get some face-to-face interaction with classmates, the instructor, to get additional assistance and things like that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And then there's one more question about COVID. And this person says, has it changed with COVID-19, or has financial aid changed with COVID-19? Are there funds still available? Has the process changed? Help us understand what financial aid looks like in, as you said, an almost post-COVID world.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that actually there is probably more financial aid available for students in this time. We know that a lot of people have had changes in employment. They've had times where they've been unemployed, or maybe they are working in a job where they aren't making the type of income that they were making previous to, and that is the information that the current FAFSAs are asking for. So we're able to look at a student by student situation to see if there's any sort of special circumstance that can potentially change what sort of financial aid that student is eligible to receive.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, well, that looks like all of the questions that have come in. So thank you so much, Dr. Mathai and Tonya, for your time today and your expertise. As one final reminder before we wrap up, classes start in May. So if you would like to take advantage of the free laptop, if you need help applying, if you've started your application and you haven't quite finished it, those are all great reasons to call our enrollment coaches at 888-420-8077, and they can help you out and make sure that you get your education on track. So thanks again to everyone who has joined, and we hope to see you in class in May.